Hey everyone.
Hey everyone.
So today we're two. Karolis left us. Shame on him. No, actually he has some important stuff to do. But welcome everyone. And it's been a month, and it's already the second episode of JS News. Today we have some really special things for you. We're gonna talk some random stuff, but the most important thing is State of JS 2021 results. So it's gonna be a lot of interesting and important stuff. Now, let's see how many viewers we got. No, that's the chat. Do you have any idea how Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Now, that's amazing. Let's wait for some more, maybe. What do you think, Timas?
Yeah, let's wait.
Yeah. Maybe you can just give us an overview of what important things you found.
Yeah, we're going to talk about ZX new release, Tauri 1.0 stable release, candidate for now, so they are going to release it soon. Another internal tool framework, ToolJet. We talked about Retool, so it's another one. Then we're going to talk about state of JS and some random things like WebVM and a tweet from Dan Abramov
Like
about
always.
Sublime Text.
Okay.
I checked, actually, I downloaded Sublime Text today. It feels great, actually.
It does?
Yeah, it's not for coding, it doesn't have smart stuff, but for like editor, it feels nice.
Okay, cool. So, but let's just leave that for the end of the stream. So, right now, I think we can start. So, the first things that we have are some new versions of our tools. And the first one is Google ZX. So, we already talked about this one a bit last year on one of our episodes.
Yeah.
What is Google ZX?
It's basically Bash, but with JavaScript.
Okay, okay. And what's new in version 5.0?
They added a YAML package, YAML.
And that's it.
Updated some dependencies, and I think they dropped a support for TS extension.
Okay.
Yeah, actually you don't need a TypeScript for this kind of scripts.
But it is still supported,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I don't know. But it seems like a quite small update.
And there's 5.1.
What's that?
And they added echo and retry functions.
Weren't they already in there?
I thought that at least echo were there.
Wait. So how would you output to the
Maybe
console
they were
before?
using a console log there.
Ah, that would make sense.
Yeah,
And-
I think
and-
it was console log.
And you can see this echo is actually, it's a string literal function. So that's neat.
Yeah.
It looks quite nice, actually.
Yeah, it was console log before. It's still experimental now. Yeah, but and the retry it's pretty good. Yeah.
Cool. So for those who maybe missed our stream or whatever, this is how a Google ZX script looks like. So it's basically just like a bash script, but you write everything in JavaScript. So if you want to automate something or just run some system jobs, you can just do that with JavaScript. Or you can also do that with TypeScript if you're really weird.
Yeah, but they are releasing new updates quite frequently.
So I think the most notable thing from version 5 is that they actually dropped support for older Node versions.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
increased to 16.
Yeah, so that's new. And Node 16 is actually a pretty new version.
Yeah.
Some people are still using like 12 or 14 even. And well, that's weird. Why they used 16? But
Maybe some of the internal functionality they changed some of the things. or this YAML packages only for Node 16. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I think it's good.
So yeah, so that's a small update on that, and then we have Tauri. I wanna say we already talked about it, or
We
didn't
were reviewing Rising Stars of
okay.
21.
Oh yeah, and
this
then we
was the case.
yeah, and then we noticed this one because it's super popular, but it's still not quite fully released.
Yeah, it's still a release candidate. You have actually in their website plan what needs to be done before release and what they are doing after it. They have a plan, what steps. And yeah, what I like about them is that they're really concerned about security. They're now been working for like 8 months with security company, testing all the vulnerabilities and fixing them. And this is the one milestone that's need to be done before their stable release.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw, I think maybe in their website.
Yeah, you can open the website.
Yeah. So I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So basically, Tauri is a little bit like Electron. You can build desktop websites with desktop apps with JavaScript, HTML, whatever. But it's super light. It's much lighter than Electron.
Yeah, it's very light.
Yeah, and what's interesting in this roadmap that I'm scrolling through right now, it's quite long, but you can see that they are actually planning to add mobile bundler. So different from Electron, you could actually add building for mobile devices and for desktop devices. So that could be a great improvement, and if it's so fast, I think that's gonna be the winner for kind of native app bundling.
Yeah. Cordova, I think, it also has a desktop app building
But
with Electron.
But Cordova has some issues, and I will show them on the state of JS section.
It does have any issues.
Yeah, basically nobody ever wants to use it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working with Cordova, so yeah, I know those things. And about Tauri, there's a video of them. They're talking about their philosophy. Their main concern is security, low bundling size. I think there's if you scroll to the top, there's bundle size mentioned there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like 600 kilobytes.
And I remember Electron, when you bundle it together with the runtime, it's about 20 megabytes at least.
At least, yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I think it could be more. Yeah, but for now, my main concern about this framework is that to write something in the backend. What I mean by backend is that main process, like in Electron, it's called main process.
To communicate with system stuff.
For example, to communicate with file system. In Electron, you do it with the Node.js. And in Tauri, for now, you're using Rust. So for web developers, you would need to learn Rust.
Nice.
But yeah. But
and Rust is a bit like it's derived from C, I think. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it's fast, but
it's not such.
It's not easy to learn. For me, it would be interesting to learn and write Rust. But it will cost a lot of money. Yeah, it's purely from the interest, not like if you're working and practice. But the thing, I've listened to that video, so they are planning to allow it to write backend for all most popular languages. Not
what do you mean?
Necessarily Rust.
So they're gonna support more languages?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I thought that even including a JavaScript runtime would be a huge step, but if they're adding support for even more languages, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, the core will be at Rust, but we can write with the JavaScript. I think if you scroll down to the roadmap, there is a Deno support.
Yeah. So that's what I was gonna ask actually.
Yeah.
Oh, Deno, nice. Okay, yeah. So that's planned. Cool. Okay, I like that more.
Yeah.
And Deno is actually also, it's really, really promising. It's a runtime like Node.js, but it's different.
Yeah.
But I heard that it's a bit faster and it has more potential to be more powerful in some cases. So, yeah, that's cool.
So I think we need to follow that Tauri.
Yeah, and since
it is promising.
Yeah, and now it has the release candidates, so basically it's gonna be really not so long until we have a stable release. It's planned for Q1 of this year, so so it's really it's really near.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now we have another tool. Okay. That's okay, cool. So, ToolJet. What kind of tool is it, and what other tools have we actually tried before?
We didn't actually try it.
Yeah, but we tried Retool before.
We talked, about Retool.
Yeah.
And it was great, like for user experience or developer experience.
Mm-hmm.
But the pricing, it's pretty expensive, and it doesn't have really a free membership for like trying out. There is a free membership, but only in creator mode, so you can't test it like the user should.
Okay.
And this ToolJet has a little bit less functionality, but still has it, and there are integrations with other systems like Strapi, Google Maps, and you can connect your own API. And and it provides a free plan for unlimited users, but only 2 applications.
Okay.
And there are other plans like startup, business.
Okay, and so from price-wise, it's better than
cheap,
Retool.
actually. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's log in.
And you can host it on your own servers.
Okay. Can I edit this one, or can I just launch it?
I think you can only launch it.
Okay, so you created this test app.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you don't need to code anything. You just basically drag and drop and construct your own like tools, connect to API, database, etc. So what does this do?
It just fetched from the public Pokemon API. And if you can reload, you will see the spinner.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You can just simply, there's like braces, and there's query data. You select queries, and it has a state like an Apollo client is loading.
Okay. So
and you just can put variables into the components like table, text, and there's pagination supported. There is a lot of stuff. Also, I didn't connect the pagination to backend, but
okay.
Yeah. And there is a text on the top that says.
Yeah. So basically, you can build like kind of small applications, but without any code if you need. Just for internal use. Okay. Cool.
I think it's great for use cases like if there are translations for example, saved into backend. And you need to manage them, or for example, you are planning to migrate some old admin, but you need a temporary solution. You can just use this thing.
Okay.
It's just for
cool,
because it's not for public use. For it to use that application you build, you need to be added to the account.
Yeah, so that's what I'm actually doing right now. I'm trying to find how can I create my own application.
I think you can just scroll to the top. Tooljet Cloud.
Yeah, but I don't see any like.
Try all applications.
I can't create anything.
Okay.
Yeah. So the problem with this tooljet is actually, you probably don't know, but behind the scenes, all time when I tried to launch this application, we got some pretty weird issues. At first, my account didn't even work. Then I would just get a blank page and basically just find some errors in the console. And right now I can see that we have some TypeScript errors here as well. It doesn't seem like it's coded that good.
Yeah, it has some issues.
Yeah, but from the usability perspective, okay, cool. Yeah, so it needs some time to get to know it.
Yeah, I accidentally created a new application, but it's not launched. It's not released, so you can't launch it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's a tool to try, and well, it's not as finished and as like stable running as Retool that we talked. It's a lot more cheaper. So if you value that, I think it's a good addition.
Or you can just code build something for yourself, just for automation things or something like that. For simplicity, you can just use it because it has a free plan.
Yeah.
And Retool doesn't have free plan for like individual users. So yeah, that's good thing.
Yep. Okay, now let's open up chat. We have some random stuff in the chat. Cool. Now we're gonna get to the most important topic of the day, the state of JS. But before that, I want to ask, how many of you have actually filled out this survey of state of JS? So everyone who has, just leave a comment. And if you have any questions about that survey and about the results, you're also welcome to just ask questions, because we're going to be covering a lot of tools, a lot of frameworks, and a lot of new things that actually were useful in the 2021. Okay.
Do you have a question there? Or?
Yeah, we do have a question. All these libs have some community, or it's not for real production? Yeah, so I think you're talking about this...
Tauri?
No, this tooljet. Is that right? So if you're talking about tooljet, so that's a tool for not for production, but for internal tools.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about something else, please elaborate the question. Yeah. Cool. But for now, let's go to the main topic of the day, the state of JS results. Yeah. So state of JavaScript. It's an annual survey where developers from all over the world are actually taking part in, and it has a lot of questions, a lot of different categories, and basically it's trying to get an overview of what JavaScript world was throughout this year. And this year, the survey was actually held a couple of weeks ago, actually, maybe a month ago. So in the last stream, we actually asked you to participate in the survey so that we get the best results. And right now, we can already see that we have the results. It is all accessible in 2021.stateofjs.com. 2021 is because it's the results from the last year, but it's brand new, and let's go right into the results. So the first thing is like demographics. What kind of people were answering the survey results, and we can see that we have the whole world. For example, from Lithuania, we already have like 23 people. So I'm guessing that if we have like 20-ish people here, so maybe that's all of our listeners. No, that's probably not the case, but we can see that we have a pretty vast user base, and that's really good because we can see the whole global situation, what people are using and stuff. And we also have people speaking multiple languages. The most people from the age group are like 24, 34 years old, so that's kind of consistent. And we can see all kinds of demographics as well. Then we have this features tab, and basically it's about the features that JavaScript included. What are your favorite JavaScript features that are very new? Do you have any? Like,
I don't have specific features. Yeah.
Optional chaining, knowledge coalescing.
I haven't used knowledge coalescing yet.
You haven't, because that actually was the most useful and the most loved feature of the whole year.
Yeah, because I don't use the latest. Yes.
Yeah, but that's already included in TypeScript as well, I think.
Yeah, that project isn't in TypeScript.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one with TypeScript now, but yeah, I can use it there, but I'm not. I don't have habit yet to use it consistently.
Okay, so I want to ask our viewers. So, do we have people who don't know what knowledge coalescing is actually? Okay, nice. We have one live here. So I just want to show real quick, because that's the most cool thing in TypeScript and in JavaScript. So before we had this OR operator, where if you have like an empty value, false or null or something, you would use that OR operator to fall back to some value. And in the modern JavaScript, we have this operator with 2 question marks, which specifically targets null and undefined. So if the value is nullish, basically null or undefined, you can add a default value for it. And it's super useful. In the project that I'm working in with TypeScript, I'm using it everywhere. It's literally everywhere, because it's more useful than using this OR operator.
Yeah.
With OR operator, there used to be like issues where you would zero, an empty string or something. These are actually values that you want to keep, but it would fall back. But this operator, it's the best, and it shows here in state.js as well, because a lot of people have used it, and it's one of the most useful features, together with optional chaining. So optional chaining was actually released at the same time as knowledge coalescence, and it's basically just adding a question mark before the property.
Yeah.
So basically this also falls back to null or undefined, and you don't need to some specific logic to fix it. So just real quick. What is that? Okay. Yeah, we have video. Cool. And the idea of this is that these 2 operators are the most useful. All of the other ones are kind of niche. We can see I don't know. I don't know most of them actually. I don't know, BigInt. I haven't used that one. Probably nobody has, but we can see that from the features, these are 2 most useful.
Yeah.
Then we have the language. So basically, these are all kind of technical things, dynamic imports, etc., etc. So these are not so interesting, but it shows how JavaScript is growing. And then we have some kind of other features like progressive web applications and WebAssembly. So it's also a progression, but let's now dive into the most interesting thing. It's the libraries, frameworks, and stuff like this. So, okay, cool. I'm gonna pause right here a little bit because we have a question. Just to hold the tension here. Okay, so they say that okay. So it's probably about choosing the library. This tooljet is not kind of a library, it's just like a, I don't know, one-off tool where you can just quickly build like a POC or something, and then you would still go on and actually implement correctly. But for building like proof of concept and just testing out, it works good because you don't really use that for production. Yeah. Okay. I hope that answered your question. Let's go back to state.js. Okay. So, JavaScript libraries. So the first thing that we see is Angular. It's a bit negative opinion in it, but we can see that through the years, like from 2018, it's been kind of in the same place. It has kind of a middle usage and a bit more negative opinions. But we can see that a lot of tools that were very positively expressed, such as React, Express, Webpack, they are getting some negative opinions this year. I wonder why that might be, because that's very weird.
Yeah, it's strange for React to go that way.
Yeah, my guess is that actually with the rise of the new frameworks, which are built on top of React, such as Next and others that we can see right here, these are actually pushing like simple vanilla React out of the scope, and people are more and more using these all-inclusive frameworks, and maybe that's why. Also, there have been like some updates that have mixed opinions with the latest React features, so that's kind of understandable. But I also wanted to show one more thing. So you talked about Cordova.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the issue with it. From 2016, it got some negative opinions, and it's been going more negative since. But this year, it's gone even more to the left side. So I'm not guessing that anyone really wants to actually use Cordova.
It's very old thing, but I think Ionic is built on top of Cordova, and it's yeah, there
might be
Ionic there, and it's in the better place than Cordova. And actually, it uses the same plugins as Cordova.
Okay, so maybe people don't know.
Yeah, they just Ionic is like Next.js and React. It's Ionic like on Cordova.
Okay.
And there is a capacitor. Yeah, there are other new things that work similarly. But yeah, Cordova is dying.
Okay. And also somewhere in here, I think we have the Tauri, but I can't find it right now. So let's go to the front-end frameworks. This is the most like used chart of all of the state of JS. It's rankings. So we can see that it's basically from developer satisfaction, how fun it is to actually code in it. We see a new player here. It's called Solid. Do you know anything about Solid?
No.
I don't know too. Does anyone know anything about Solid? If you do, please write in the comments. If you don't, I'm not sure. But we can see that the other things are kind of the same. We can see that Svelte is also still very popular, still very fun to use. The second place is React, then we have Vue, and the list is kind of pretty similar, but the Solid is on the top. Now, from the usage perspective, we can see that the most used, according to this survey, is React. In the second place, we still have Angular. A lot of apps have been built on Angular, and they're still maintained, and they're still being actively developed on. And the third place is Vue. So it's top three. Svelte hasn't yet reached the top three. But with the latest Svelte updates, maybe it can reach the top 3. I'm not sure. Okay, and now we can go to backend frameworks. So this is a bit of a different story here. We have 2 new backend frameworks, like SvelteKit and Astro.
I think SvelteKit is something like Next.js on Svelte. Yeah, on React. Yeah.
Might be.
Astro.
I want to say that we talked about it, but I'm not.
I think Karolis mentioned. I don't think we talked about it, but Karolis mentioned it about.
Might be. Okay. And then we can see the top of our, I think, and the top 3 from the last year. We have the Next.js, we have Express, and then we have the Remix. From the interest perspective, Remix is kind of high in the list, but SvelteKit is still higher. So we need to see about this one. And from the usage perspective, we can see that it's not surprising. Most people still use Express. And then we have Next.js. Gatsby, I think, from the interest has dropped quite a lot. I know that Gatsby has released a new version with the full server-side rendering, and we talked about it, but still it does not look good for Gatsby.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Nest is pretty low. Yeah, because, for example, in the satisfaction, Remix is above the Nest, but it's kind of a different purpose things. Nest.js is for building APIs. So
yeah, but still, if you have a server-side rendered app, and you can integrate some kind of API gateway into that as well.
I thought that it will be above the Express Nest.js because it's in the similar use case. So I don't compare Remix and Nest because they are pretty different use cases.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But they're quite near each other. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Now for the testing libraries, let's just have a quick look. So we have testing library, and it's still going strong. It seems like it's one of the leaders. And from the usage, a lot of people are still using Jest and Mocha. Storybook has been growing, and Cypress usage has been growing a lot. We can see from 26% in 2019 to 43%, and I think it's still going strong. Okay, now on the mobile and desktop, that's where I wanted to talk. We can see Tauri. So right now, from the satisfaction, it's the first. From interest, it's the first. From usage, it's the last.
It doesn't have a stable release yet, but it's most satisfied.
Yeah, but
yeah,
we can see that if it delivers what it promises.
Yeah, but if you click on the usage, it's only 2%.
Yeah, so I'm saying on the usage is last.
Yeah,
it's not scalable yet. Nobody is gonna use it in production. And we can see that everyone's using Electron. So if Tauri replaces Electron, a couple of years into the future, we're gonna see them switch places, I think. Yeah, so that's really cool. Now, build tools, monorepo tools, these are kind of self-obvious. Let's take a look at the chat, maybe. Let's see if we have something. No, we have nothing. So if you have any questions about any of these tools, just write to the chat. And now let's go back to the other tools. And that's basically just a random category of all of the other libraries that you might use. So a lot of people are using Axios. I'm really not surprised. A lot of people are using Lodash. And it seems that more people are using Moment than DateFNs. Although people are talking that Moment is such a huge and heavy thing, but still, most of the people are still using Moment for date. Compared to 6.2% for Luxon, which is the new library from Moment developers. So the usage is still strong on this one.
Yeah, it's probably because they're working on some old projects that already used Moment and they don't replace, but maybe on the new projects. Maybe they use something other.
Look at that. What's that? I haven't heard of this one. What's jQuery?
That's a very promising new library.
Yeah, actually, I think we should all use more jQuery.
You can click there are other libraries there is here.
Okay.
That's I think more interesting because
okay, yeah, so that's like these are like the main libraries that you use, and other libraries are the additional 3GS. It's actually not that fun to work with 3GS, but it has a lot of libraries built on top of it, which are fun to work with. So if you like have 3D graphics and you will, I don't even remember anyone, but basically working with 3D graphics with 3 and some other library on top, it's really interesting. And I think there's even a library for React, React 3GS, I think, where you build the 3D world with React components. It's a very interesting like experience, but I have done it.
You know what I've done? I've coded augmented reality app with React.
And how did that go?
Not bad, but
not good.
That framework has a little bit of problems. Of course, I was working first time with React Native, so that was a bit an issue. And yeah, it worked finally, but there's a knowledge you need to know how the augmented reality is working. So yeah, that was the hardest part.
Okay. Yeah, but
because it's not only the 3D world, but you are also moving.
Yeah, so that's not like a React problem, but it's more like
and the library also it was kind of had some problems.
Okay, I wonder if that would work if you use like 3GS with something on top of it. Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay, now from the utilities, it's pretty obvious. ESLint, Prettier, Babel, these are the tools that we're all using. Nothing surprising here at all. ZX is not used at all. Like it's used like for 1%.
New thing. Yeah.
But still, most of the applications are like standard. So they are using Webpack, Babel, and the linter Prettier. So it's kind of standard way. Now for the other utilities, we can see Husky, which is used to automate Git integrations. Like run linter before committing or something. So that's really used a lot. And then we have a bunch of other. People are still using TSLint. I'm not sure why, because they dropped support and ESLint right now supports TypeScript.
And I think this is easily replaceable.
Yeah, it's very easily replaceable.
So yeah, that is strange.
That's weird. So from the other tools, these are like just command line tools. So if Sass is like 6% here, it doesn't mean that nobody's using Sass. It's just nobody's using the command line utility for it. JavaScript runners, so we can see that Node.js is strong. We have browser, but then we have Dino, which is growing, and I think that's a good that's some good news. Then we have some other random stuff. So you can all dive deeper into these results yourself. The link is very simple, and we're gonna be posting the link as well. So from JavaScript where am I? Okay, in other tools. So from JavaScript flavors as well, TypeScript is an absolute leader. We have other kind of stuff, but nothing's as popular as TypeScript. So you either code vanilla JavaScript or you go with TypeScript.
Yeah, I think others is just slowly dying. I still use CoffeeScript.
Where?
In one of the projects.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's getting migrating, so yeah.
Okay, I remember when a lot of people were hyped about Flow, where you could like add typings to the JavaScript without changing any like syntax. But we can see that TypeScript is still really strong. And this is kind of interesting as well. So, what kind of other languages, non-JavaScript, the actual developers use? So, it seems that for JavaScript developers, Python is pretty popular second language. We have some full stack developers probably working with PHP.
Yeah.
Then there's Java, Bash, but Python, I have tried it as well myself. It's actually really fun to work with.
I've coded some things with Python in the university. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, but it's not in the scope of JS. It's gonna be Python, yes, maybe. Cool. So now let's go to resources. Okay, we have one more comment. Let's have a look. Okay, so I think Angular is not still, just enterprise always use Angular. I won't argue with that. I'm not sure. I mean, there are a lot of frameworks built on React that enterprises can also use. I don't see really like a benefit of using Angular or using Next. You could easily choose both if you're an enterprise. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe Angular has more like...
I think they used to use only Angular, but I think they're turning to React too now. Especially I think there are more React developers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's easier to find them. And yeah, I mean, we should just like live and see for the future.
I think I've been in a talk a few years ago, these front-end meetups, and there was a guy who said their company only used Angular, I think, but then they switched. I think they did one project with React to test it out. They did a architecture, just picked out the tools they want to use, and they started using React.
Yeah, and you don't need to use like plain simple React. There are, I think, like I might say enterprise grade frameworks built on React that you could use as well. So yeah, that's addressing the comment that we got. Sorry if it offends anyone, but that's just our opinion. Okay, and now the final things from the State of JS survey. It has nothing to do with the libraries or tools. It's how people learn. So we can see that most people are actually like using self-directed learning, which is basically just trying to Google, copy from Stack Overflow, and just work your way up there. Online courses are also popular, but the most important thing is like you need to have that self-learning thinking in order to be like a JavaScript developer. We can say podcasts, it's one of the bottom ones, but if we go strong with JS news, no, but actually about the podcasts. So I wanted to show there's a special category for it. And
I see.
I really want to shout out those podcasts as well. Syntax, JS Party especially, I have heard a lot about them. And there's a lot of other podcasts that you could be listening to. There are a lot of great stuff to hear from them. And so these are all good resources. Just go and try them out. We're going to be listening more to them too as well, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a really great page to actually have some learning material from. And then we have the people. So, of course, the most well-known person in JavaScript world is Dan Abramov.
The second, no.
The second is Ken C. Dodds. So these are two people that we are always mentioning.
Yeah, and Devon Yu is, I think, Vue.js creator?
Yes, yeah. He is. Yeah, he's the creator of Vue.js. I really like his portfolio website. It's so clean. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so these are like the celebrities of JS world. So if you don't know any of them, I think it's a good way right now to just go and find out something about them, especially when Kensi Dots he came to Lithuania to hold a speech, so it was very interesting to listen to him. And then we have okay, so opinions. It's like it's been there for since 2016, and it seems like people are still thinking that JavaScript is moving in the right direction, but there has been like complexity between different packages and different libraries, and it's a trend that we can see is continuing.
Yeah, I like that which one is changing too fast. That it's getting smaller. That agree. Yeah, I think it's just stabilizing now.
It's stabilizing a bit, yeah. And in the conclusion as well, they are talking about that JavaScript world is a bit getting less chaotic, but still, I mean, when you see how many tools we have, I think it's a bit of a. It still raises some issues.
I think there are a lot of build tools, but if build tools are changing, that's not that chaotic when front frameworks are changing.
Yeah,
because build tools is easier to switch.
Yeah, but right now we have new frameworks coming in, and they also have their own like I know mindsets. They have their own architecture, so you need to learn a lot and just to be open to new things. So now there's this award section. So the most adopted feature, as I said, is knowledge coalescing. You really need to try that one out. Then the most adopted technology is build.
I remember knowledge coalescing when we were also in a meetup. They were presenting that.
Yeah. So then the highest satisfaction is Vite.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise us. We talked about it as well. Highest interest also, and most write-ins, Elm. Not sure why that is. But yeah, that's basically from people who have like open text fields to enter in service. So I think that still has their own user base. And basically that's it. That's been the year of 21 in JavaScript. And this conclusion really good. It summarizes everything in a really nice way. And then there's this one last thing that I want to show you about. So there's gonna be an actual survey results live stream on February 22. So everyone is like invited to join into it, and they're also gonna do something similar to what we did here. They're gonna be talking about the results.
Probably better.
But I think that right now we spent a little bit time preparing for that. So when the actual State of JavaScript live stream happens, we can raise our own questions and we can be prepared so that we know what everyone's talking about. So, yep, that's the State of JavaScript. We're gonna be posting the links. And for the end, I think we still have a couple of things, just some random news items, random fun things as we call them.
Yeah.
So
a tweet from Dan Abramov.
Okay, wanna talk about it?
Yeah, it's small tweet, but just saying that Sublime Text is very good, and he's just trying to sell the Sublime Text to all the developers.
And I've read this initial tweet is, well, it's not as interesting to read as the actual comment.
Yeah.
It seems that Dan is right now in love with Sublime Text.
Actually, when you use it, it feels great. Just everything works so smooth. But yeah, it just doesn't have smart tools. Maybe there are plugins I didn't check, but I think the community of Sublime is a lot smaller than VS Code.
I really like this comment from him. So he basically says that instead of learning UI development and basically just, I think, user experience design, you should just open Sublime Text and study it, because in his words, it's like the most, well, I want to find the comment. But he just says that it should be a case study in UX design because it's so incredibly well thought out. Most of us mortals will never notice it. And I think he has a point. It seems that they've done a really great job in designing this for developers. I want to say I'm going to try it out, but I probably won't. I'm still going to stick to VS Code. But
it's nice to try out. I've used Sublime Text like 5 or 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Probably I was in school. And when I open it now, just a different tool. Because I remember the UI was not good then.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
it just looked old.
Okay, so now it seems better. If you want, now it's the time to take a shot at it.
Yeah.
And then we have this very weird thing.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah, basically,
fun.
Each time we have this, like, you can do it, but you should not do it.
And
it actually works, yes, I know.
And it saved all my data that I had.
Where? in a service worker probably?
I created files, and it is now there.
Yeah, so WebVM, it's a virtual machine Linux environment that runs
in your browser.
And basically that's it. I'm not sure. I know why they did it, just because they could, but it doesn't mean that you have to do it. And we can see it has like a full. It has a full installation of Python. It has like the file system. It's actual Linux environment. It's not a terminal to some remote machine. It's actually running it inside my browser.
Yeah, with the WebAssembly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is mentioned some using the Chirp X virtualization engine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so this by itself it's not really useful. You're not going to be like running Linux instances on your browser. But just to illustrate what kind of power of computing we have in the browsers, it's a bit insane. I mean, back a couple of years ago when I finished my bachelor's degree, my finishing work was on running distributed computing on users' browsers. Like in an ad, you could just like mine Bitcoin or something.
Yeah.
And back then it was already possible to do like kind of resource intensive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And with this, I mean, it's just you can run Linux instances on the browser. So imagine what you can actually do with WebAssembly. It's pretty wild. Yeah, it's actually
you can do it without user knowing that.
Yeah. I mean,
Crazy,
if you manage to take just a part of the processing power and harness the browser power in each website, people are like doing this already, and it just serves to illustrate that JavaScript is no longer just a language for user interactions. It's super powerful. Yeah. So I think with this one we're gonna be finishing up. That's gonna be all for the JS news, and
maybe we can check the questions.
Let's see. So yeah, we don't have any new comments. We have that discussion about Angular. So for the next time, maybe we're gonna prepare some questions in advance or something. So
maybe we can talk about that solid framework which was on the top.
Yeah, maybe. And if anyone has some suggestions what we should talk about, you can also find us either on Slack if you're internal employees, or you can just leave messages here on Twitch, or we're gonna be uploading the recording to YouTube as well. But for now, I think that's it. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you.
And see you next time.